Coming up, Iowa City welcomes a weekend of protests.
A cherished music and arts festival returns to Iowa City.
April showers are up ahead, all of the full forecast and weather.
Good morning from Iowa City. It is Monday, April 7th, and I'm Hannah Lipsky.
And I'm Ryan Lynch. And Hannah, when I was getting into the studio this morning, it was still a little gloomy and a little on the chilly side like it's been.
I was hoping for some sun, but hopefully Jake, who's with a third member of our team, is going to tell us some good news about the weather today.
Thanks, guys. And yeah, for me, it was definitely a whirlwind of a walk to the studio this morning, but that could start to lessen up as we take a look at the Penn and Chris Cam this morning. We're off to a chilly 35 degrees start, but the wind is going to be sticking around all day, and it's about to climb up to around the mid-40s tonight. And then the temperatures of the wind are going to start to drop off to around the mid-30s. Tomorrow's temperatures are pretty consistent with a sunny high of 48 degrees. Now I'll have the full weekend weather later on, but right now I'm going to send it back over to the desk.
For our top story, multiple protests took place against the Trump administration over the weekend. DITV has team coverage of the protests with DITV News Director Johnny Valtman at the Hands Off protest taking place this past Saturday.
Thousands of protesters met in Iowa City to show their frustrations with the Trump administration in the Hands Off rally. Just under 3 months since President Trump took office, his tariffs are being felt around the country and for Iowa farmers.
The current economy, right? Everything is global, and Trump's attempts here are making it non-global, and that's going to fail and hurt people, especially farmers like me.
Protesters oppose other decisions made by the administration, including foreign policy, legislation aimed at minorities, and DOJ's actions. With cuts and future ones to the federal workforce, people are concerned about the long-lasting impact of shrinking the government.
You can't just stop some of those projects and expect that you're going to resume them in another week or two if something changes. What they're cutting, it'll take years to bring some of those things back.
Local and statewide politicians took to the microphone to lead chants, tell stories,
who not only shoved their country once, they came back to shove it again.
And remind Iowans that the nationwide effects have already been felt here in the state.
What they are doing in Washington, D.C. is nationalizing the nightmare that Kim Reynolds and her pawns have created here in the state of Iowa.
With the rapid changes nationwide, protesters are reminding people that they are not alone and have a voice.
I just don't trust things as they are. A lot of Americans don't trust things as they are. They're coming for all of us, and they should be more scared of us than we are of them.
People who attended came from all over the political aisle in unity, hoping to ignite change.
It really sends a message, and the fact that it's going across all across the country, I think that is really showing that people do want change, but there just aren't anyone leading that change.
And while the protest behind me focused more on the Trump administration, there was more of a condensed one on Sunday focusing around the USPS. DITV's Assistant News Director Kayla Smith is there with what they want changed.
Thanks, Johnny. Now I'm here outside of the Iowa City Post Office where members of the community are concerned about where the United States Postal Service could be going. A group of around 80 postal workers and community members came together to rally against recent talks from President Donald Trump and Elon Musk on privatizing the United States Postal Service. The group is concerned that allowing private corporations into the mail industry could impact what people are spending for mail.
It's going to cost 2 to 3 times more for the same services, probably less services. It's the same thing over and over again. It's the same broken record by Republicans in this state and across the country.
One of the top concerns of the protest was how private corporations in the mail industry could potentially impact workers' rights.
Iowa, Wisconsin, a lot of states are trying to demolish state unions on top of what's happening here, and so a lot of these workers don't have anywhere to go to.
While the protest was an opportunity to voice their concerns, others took the time to thank the mail carriers for their work.
This isn't just about packages. It's about people, it's about trust, it's about the promises that no matter where you live, the mail will reach.
Many of the protesters are urging others to tell their legislators to support House Resolution 70 and Senate Resolution 147, which asks Congress to ensure the Postal Service stays independent.
I think, send a letter. to your representative, put some postage on there, help out your local post office, but also let them know how important this service is to you.
With Postmaster General Louis DeJoy stepping down and the Department of Government Efficiency continuing to make recommendations across the federal workforce, what's next for the United States Postal Service is uncertain. From the Iowa City Post Office, Kayla Smith, DITV.
The hands-off protest movement took nationwide on Saturday as over 600,000 people signed up to attend and over 1 million people showed up. Hands Off aimed to stage rallies in 1,200 locations, including every state in the U.S. in Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, and Washington, D.C., among other locations. And hundreds of thousands of people showed up to these various sites. Among Trump's second term, this protest seemed to be the largest. From the mass termination of federal employees, other issues like immigration sweeps, and the ongoing involvement of billionaire Elon Musk in the federal government were of note.
And as part of a yearly tradition, the Daily Iowan sent reporters to our nation's capital. DITV's Jordan Tovar is live in D.C. Hey Jordan, what's up?
Yeah, guys, like you said, we're out here in D.C., and despite a bit of a flight delay yesterday, our plane had a fuel leak. We made it. Now, just a few steps down from our hotel, we have an absolutely gorgeous park that you're not going to get to see today because it's raining out. So we have quite a bit on the agenda this week here in D.C., and you might be wondering, what are y'all doing out there, Jordan? Well, let me tell you, this week we'll be interviewing Chuck Grassley and Tony Ernst. Now, Chuck Grassley is the oldest serving senator currently in the Senate. Later on today, we'll be speaking with Marionette Miller-Meeks, who's the Iowa representative for District 1. And then later in the week on Wednesday, we'll also be interviewing Ashley Henson, who's Iowa's representative for District 2. Now make sure you stay tuned here on the Daily Iowan YouTube or the Daily Iowan TV on Instagram for continued coverage. Back to you.
Thanks, Jordan. And now the second legislative funnel this week has passed. This means more bill updates.
And DITV's Annika Perez is live in the newsroom with the details.
That's right, Ryan. The second funnel week has passed, which means more bills up for consideration. The Iowa Funnel Week is a self-imposed deadline for Iowa legislature that helps bills make it through consideration. One bill has the University of Iowa in mind. The bill would establish an independent center for intellectual freedom at the university. This would be dedicated to studying the historical ideas, traditions, and texts that have shaped American constitutional order and society. Some other bills passed include uniform general education requirements that would bar general education courses from teaching systematic racism or sexism, paid family leave for state workers, and Medicaid work requirements. Some bills that didn't make it through Funnel Week include pesticide lawsuit limits that would allow companies to not warn customers of harmful chemicals in produce, having citizenship required on a driver's license, and banning minors at obscene performances, which would have banned minors from attending drag shows. A lot of interesting proposals this week. For now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Annika. And now the Young Americans for Freedom at the University of Iowa are hosting conservative journalist and commentator Eliza Cross tonight. The event has already sparked backlash with vandalism and online hate posts. Cross lives in Southern California, where she's made a name for herself amongst the liberal area. Titled, Are You Sexist?, Krause will discuss freedom of speech, women's rights, and other current topics. She's worked as a political journalist since she was 18, working on or for the Sean Hannity radio show and Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire. The event begins tonight at 7 p.m. at the Iowa Memorial Union Black Box Theater. And DITV will have coverage of the event on Wednesday's show.
Election results are in for the university's student government. Thomas Knudsen has been elected to lead the group with Emily Cross, who will be serving as vice president. 40 members will join them in Senate positions. USG serves undergraduate students with many initiatives offered to students. The newly elected president, vice president, and senators will lead the organization for the 2025 to 2026 school year.
And Iowa City welcomed back an annual music festival and arts over the weekend. DITV's Mark Fortunato has a full recap of the performances.
Headed downtown for an exciting tradition.
The Mission Creek Festival is produced by the Angler Theater, which serves as one of the many venues in Iowa cities for performers to take the stage.
The festival offered a diverse lineup of events, some local, others international.
So I'm just excited to see the actual execution, have the community come out and enjoy the experience and make some memories.
In addition to an exciting lineup, Mission Creek also celebrated its 20th anniversary in Iowa City.
Really interesting and really great. You can see how it's matured with the people who have been running the festival in their lives as well.
At the Voxman Music Building, musician, writer, and headliner Nico Case gathered a strong audience for a reading and conversation.
There's absolutely no reason on paper that I should feel brave enough to do this, but I can't help it.
Prairie Lights also offered a free reading Saturday afternoon, with Tori Peters jam-packing the room for a book reading, often making her audience laugh.
The best thing to do was to make my own hair mask with avocado, honey, olive oil, and eggs.
Musical performances rock stages. Grunge band Slacker turned their amps all the way up, and main headliner William Elliott Whitmore played 2 instruments at once while singing at Englert. It is a bittersweet moment for Mission Creek, as they will be parting ways with their 20-year-long partnership with the Englert Theater.
The feeling that happens after you complete a week of Mission Creek makes you kind of walk around Iowa City with a new perspective and feel a new wave of appreciation for this place.
The festival will always have a lasting impact on the Iowa City community. From Iowa City, Mark Fortunato, DITV.
And coming up later, we've got our DITV sports segment In the Zone, featuring an update on the Big Ten standings, our top 5 plays of the week, and so much more in Hawkeye Sports.
Now, I don't know about you gentlemen, but I'm pretty excited to see what Brady and Joel have for us in store. There's been a lot going on and a lot of rumors with, the changes to the men's basketball team.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot going on with Iowa sports, especially on the basketball side, like you mentioned with the men's, and some movement with women's as well.
Yeah, but before we get to that, Jake, do you have anything else to tell us for the weather for the week ahead?
Yeah, well, you guys mentioned it. April showers do bring May flowers, and as summer is starting to approach, we'll take a look ahead at this week's week forecast. Now, it'll be inconsistent the next few days, but there will be temperatures reaching the upper 50s, and things will remain cloudy on Thursday with another chance of rain and a high in the upper 50s and a low in the lower 30s. On Friday, things will start to warm up to the lower 60s. We'll finally start to see some sun poke out of the clouds. Here, it'll remain warm and mostly sunny with the high in the upper 60s on Saturday and Sunday, making for a nice weekend break. With April showers around the corner, it'll only bring May flowers as we move closer to summer. Lots of warm weather to look forward to, but I'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jake. Now, thank you for joining us online or listening to KRUI 89.7 FM.
We are here live from Iowa City every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. and online anytime at dailyiowan.com.
For everyone here at DITV, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again on Wednesday morning, right here on DITV.
Stories occur every day, and here at DITV, we've got you covered with up-to-date news and politics.
Former President Donald Trump won the Iowa caucus.
And we are anxiously waiting for those votes for not only the national election, but here in District 1.
Keeping highlights and scores with Hawkeye Sports.
The All-American walk-on brought that punt return down this sideline and into this end zone.
Iowa looks to boost their overall placement and their way into the semis.
And of course, all the latest in entertainment.
Sit back, relax, and here's the word on the street.
I'm here at the Alan McVeigh Theater, where a unique performance.
Here at DITV, we've got a crew bringing you all the stories from across the nation and right here in your backyard.
From Washington, D.C.,
Nashville, Tennessee,
From downtown Iowa City,
from Carver Hawkeye Arena,
and bringing all the coverage straight to you live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. Around the University of Iowa and Iowa City community, we have the stories that matter to you here at DITV.
Coming up, Hawkeye softball pulls off an upset win.
And later, Iowa's staying active in the transfer portal.
everyone. Welcome to DITV Sports in the Zone. I'm Brady Barron.
And I'm Joel Keller, and we're going to take a look at everything going on in Hawkeye athletics.
Let's go ahead and kick things off, Joel, with our top 5 plays on In the Zone. Starting off with number 5, Iowa softball versus Nebraska here. Alyssa Ramos shot right up the middle for an RBI single. Gets the first run on the board for the Hawks, makes it 2-1. Iowa would go on to win this one 5-2. Let's take another look at that. There we go.
And number 4, Iowa softball versus Nebraska as well. Jalen Adams in the circle pitching. A big bounce back after Friday's performance with 7 strikeouts in 7 innings.
Here's Iowa baseball. Game 1 of the series against Northwestern. Cave Obermuller pitching. Got a strikeout swinging with a high fastball there. That was just one of his 12 strikeouts for the game.
And number 2, we're going to go back to the softball diamond. Talia Tretton poking one in the left field in no man's land. A big base hit that would bring home a run that would tie up the game. Iowa was trailing 2-1 at the time. Iowa would go on to win that one 5-2.
Let's look at our top play. Northwestern Game 3. Blake Guerin at the plate, top of the 9th. Knocks home RBI double off the wall. Brings in our runner home from first. That would tie the game 4-4. Iowa would go on to lose. But let's take this back. Let's take another look at this hit right here. Boom! Right there from Blake Guerin. Brings in a runner home. Again, Iowa would go on to lose that one. Over the weekend, the Iowa softball team hosted Nebraska in a 3-game weekend series. And Joel, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Things got a little ugly for them.
Yeah, the beginning of this series wasn't too great, but Iowa was able to kind of pull it out there at the end.
That's right. Let's take a look at some of the action here in this one, Joel.
Yeah, in Game 3, the Hawkeyes were looking to avoid a sweep and end a 5-game skid. And Nebraska won the first 2 pretty handedly by a combined score of 26-1. But right now, as we see there, a base hit for the Hawkeyes got things going, and then they used an error by Nebraska to get the offense moving. And from there, the Hawkeyes just took over. They ended up scoring 5 runs in the 3rd.
That's right. Jalen Adams also came in this one, Joel. She got her 200th career strikeout on Friday, but was pulled after early in that one. In this one, she bounced back with a full game where she tallied up 7 strikeouts. Iowa would go on to win in this one and improve to 22-4 overall, 4-6 in the Big Ten. Now the Iowa softball team wrapped up their 3-game series, and DITV's Cole Krieger witnessed that performance there on Sunday from Jalen Adams.
In their 3-game weekend series against the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Jalen Adams and the Hawkeyes got off to a rough start, being outscored by the Huskers 26-1 through the first 2 games.
But I think it's just nice to quickly make the turnaround from just getting away from who we were and failing to do simple things. And flat out, we were just playing bad softball. It's nice just to get back to playing some fundamentally sound softball.
In Game 3, the Hawkeyes came out cold once again, trailing 2-0 off of 2 Nebraska hits that were just inches away from clearing the fence.
Nah, it was not rocket science. It was kind of like, let's stop sucking as quickly as possible. And it was just fundamental softball. You know what I mean? We were failing at the simple stuff, fielding the ball, managing the strike zone.
The Hawkeyes quickly regained control with a 5-run inning in the bottom of the 3rd, followed by the arm of junior pitcher Jalen Adams and some great plays from the Hawkeye defense.
I'm just keeping the trust in my teammates and knowing that they have my back and that I have theirs, and just continuing to feed off of that.
After being pulled after just 1 inning on Friday, it was Jalen Adams who pitched a full game, striking out 7 batters and only allowing 2 runs to propel the Hawks to the win.
My back, I knew that they had faith in me, and all you can do is learn from it. So I think I just took Friday and learned from it and used it today.
With the veteran pitching from Jalen Adams, the Hawkeyes find themselves back in the win column, heading into their next matchup Tuesday night against Illinois State. From Bob Perel Stadium, Cole Krieger, DITV Sports.
Joel, big upset win there to avoid back-to-back series sweeps for the Hawks.
Yeah, and that's right. And to help us understand where this leaves Iowa in the Big Ten, we're going to go to Elise Gann in studio with us.
Yeah, guys, we've got some standing changes on my board last week, starting with softball, falling from 9th place to 10th place in the Big Ten standings after 5 losses in a row, first getting swept by the Wisconsin Badgers and then losing 2 of their 3 battles against Nebraska, although they finally broke that streak yesterday with an upset win against the Huskers. As the Hawks sit in the middle of the pack here, the postseason creeps closer and the top 12 teams get in, so Iowa is right on the cusp, and we will see how things fall as the season winds down.
Iowa baseball was also on the road. We're all on the road, against Northwestern this weekend, where the Hawks picked up another series win. They had a 12-1 run rule in 7 innings in game 1, 7-1 win in game 2. Got a couple strikeouts here. First, Cade Obermueller there, and then Reese Buter here with another strikeout. Hawks combined for 19 strikeouts over the course of the first 2 games. Looking for a sweep in game 3 to extend their win streak to 6. A Ben Wilmes RBI single tied the game in the 6th inning right there.
And then Blake Guerin went up to the plate and tied it right back up with a nice little base hit out there in the left field. Northwestern would get up to the plate in the 9th inning with an opportunity to win it, and they would take advantage with a walk-off victory against the Hawkeyes for the Northwestern 5-4 W.
You know, I know they lost yesterday, but Iowa baseball has been cruising, and they had a great weekend overall.
Yeah, they really have. And so I have to ask Elise, are the Hawkeyes still sitting atop the Big Ten standings?
Yes, Joel, they are. They may have had an off day yesterday. It's never fun to lose on a walk-off. But despite the loss, they still stand at number 1 in the Big Ten standings, 12-3. Like softball, the postseason is right around the corner, and currently the Hawkeyes are in the top spot in Pool A. But UCLA is not far behind in 2nd place with a 10-2 record. Although they are in a tight race, the Hawkeyes and Bruins won't actually face each other this season, so it will all come down to who has the stronger ending.
Iowa's tennis team shipped out east for the weekend. They went 1-1 against Maryland and Rutgers. The Terrapins pulled off the upset win against Iowa on Friday in a close 4-2 contest. Maryland grabbed the doubles point and kept the Hawkeyes at arm's length throughout the singles matches.
Iowa bounced back yesterday with a 4-1 win over Rutgers, dropping just 1 singles match. It's good for Iowa to bounce back after a tough loss, but they can't sulk on it with only so much time remaining in the season.
Yeah, the team is definitely still in a good spot, but we'll go back to Elise once again for the Big Ten standings to see how much could change during these final weeks.
Yeah, guys, like you were saying, Iowa tennis took a trip out east, but now they will navigate to the complete other side of the country to take on the West Coast teams with 2 weeks left until the postseason. As you can see, USC and UCLA are right on Iowa's tail as the Hawkeyes sit 5th in the standings with a 6-3 record and are pushing for that 4th spot so they can get a bye in the postseason, but they will have competition in their new conference buddies. The Hawkeyes will close out their regular season against the Washington Huskies, who currently sit in 2nd place. I'll send it back to you guys.
Now, the Iowa gymnastics season came to a close this weekend at the NCAA Regionals. While in Tuscaloosa, Iowa competed with California, Alabama, and North Carolina.
The top 2 scores, which belonged to Cal and Alabama, advanced to the regional finals yesterday, and Iowa scored a 196, resulting in a last place finish after they only scored above a 9.8 once in the final 2 rotations.
Iowa's gymnastics season cut short there a little bit, but now we got a bunch of off-season activities going on across all of Hawkeye athletics.
Yeah, it seems like every week we just get more and more off-season news.
That's right, and we're going to go to Ryan Paris, in the newsroom. He's got to look at some of those off-season activities.
That's right, guys. A flurry of moves in the offseason for the transfer portal. One of those comes from the wrestling side with Dean Peterson, a transfer from Rutgers, joining the wrestling team. He figures to slot in as the Hawkeyes' new 125-pound wrestler. He has 1 year of eligibility remaining and is qualified for the NCAA tournament 3 times, reaching the round of 12 twice. He'll join Nasir Bailey and Jordan Williams as a 3rd transfer this offseason. But moving over to basketball, where most of the action has been happening, the Hawkeyes have a lot of former Hawkeyes now from the team last year coming to new teams. Josh Dix to Creighton. That's a big one. Later on Friday, Price Sanford goes to the rival Nebraska. Should be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out next year. And then lastly, Isaiah Johnson-Aragu, a midseason transfer, has entered his name into the portal. He doesn't have a destination quite yet. But lastly, for the Iowa women's basketball team, assistant head coach Raina Harmon is now the new coach at Florida Gulf Coast. She was with the team for 8 seasons and figures to slot in as the new head of the Eagles. And then lastly, we got just about out of time. We'll send it back to Brady and Joel in the studio.
Thank you for tuning in to DITV Sports in the Zone. For Elise Gann, I'm Brady Barron.
And for Ryan Paris, I'm Joel Keller, and we'll be back next week. But until then, stay in the zone.